Okay, we're going to start reading today, and we're going to read from the Esdras 1. And so follow along with us. For those of you, this is your first time actually reading Esdras. We're going to read it Esdras, which is actually Ezra. Okay, Ezra 1, Esdras 1. Okay, just a little incidentally, the terminology Esdras, as you see on the screen, is a transliteration, or it's actually a Hellenized version of Ezra, right? So we're going to start with Ezra, or Ezra chapter 1 and 1. Josiah held a feast of the Passover in Jerusalem to his master, and offered the Passover the 14th day of the first month, having set the priests according to their daily courses, being arrayed in long garments in the temple of Yah. He spoke unto the Levites, the set apart ministers of Israel, that they should set apart themselves unto Yah, to set the set apart ark of Yah in the house of King Shalomo, the son of David had built. And he said, You shall no more bear the ark upon your shoulders. Now therefore serve Yah, your Elohim, and minister unto his people Israel, and prepare you after your families and kindreds, according as David the king of Israel prescribed, and according to the magnificence of Shalomo his son, and standing in the temple according to the several dignity of families of you, the Levites, who minister in the presence of your brother and the children of Israel. Offer the Passover in order and make ready the sacrifice for your brethren, and keep the Passover according to the commandment of Yah, which was given to Moshe. And unto the people that was found there, Josiah gave 30,000 lambs and kids, and 3,000 calves. These things were given of the king's allowance, according as he promised to the people, to the priests, and to the Levites. Hezekiah, Zechariah, Simulus, the governors of Asabius, and Oshiel, and Joram, captains over thousands, gave to the Levites for the Pesach, or Passover, 5,000 sheep and 700 calves. All right, verse 10. And when these things were done, the priests, the Levites, having unleavened bread, stood in very comely order according to the kindreds, and according to the several dignities of the fathers before the people, to offer to Yah, as is written in the book of Moshe, and thus did they in the morning. And they roasted the Passover with fire, as pertaineth as for the sacrifice. They sod them in brass pots and pans with a good savor, and set them before all people, and afterwards they prepared for themselves and for the priests their brethren, the sons of Aharon. For the priests offered the fat until night, and the Levites prepared for themselves, and the priests their brethren, the sons of Aharon. The Kodesh singers, also the sons of Asaph, were in their order, according to the appointment of David, to wit Asaph, Zechariah, and Yedutun, who was of the king's retinue. Moreover, verse 16. Moreover, the porters were at every gate. It was not lawful for any to go from his ordinary service, for their brethren the Levites prepared for them. Thus were the things that belonged to the sacrifices of Yah accomplished in that day, that they might hold the Pesach, and offerings and offer sacrifices upon the altar unto Yah, according to the commandment of the king Josiah. So the children of Israel which were present held the Passover at that time, and the feast of sweet bread 7 days. And such a Passover was not kept in Israel since the time of the prophet Shemuel. Yes, all the kings of Israel held not such a Passover as Josiah, and the priests and the Levites and the Yahudim held with all Israel that were found dwelling at Jerusalem. In the 18th year of the reign of Josiah was the Passover kept. 23. And the works of Josiah was upright before his master with an heart full of righteousness. As for the things that came to pass in his time, they were written in former times concerning those that sinned and did wickedly against Yah above all people and kingdoms, and how they grieved him exceedingly, so that the words of Yah rose up against Israel. Now after all these acts of Josiah, it came to pass that Pharaoh the king of Egypt came to raise war at Carchemish upon Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him. But the king of Egypt sent to him, saying, What have I to do with thee, O king of Yahudiah? I am not sent out from Yah against thee, for my war is upon Euphrates. And now Yah is with me. Yes, Yah is with me, hastening me forward. Depart from me, and be not against Yah. Howbeit, Josiah did not turn back his chariot from him, but overtook to fight with him, not regarding the words of the prophet Yirmiyahu spoke by the mouth of Yah, but joined battle with him in the plain of Megiddo. And the princes came against Josiah. Then said the king unto the servants, Carry me away out of the battle, for I am very weak. And immediately his servants took him away out of the battle. Verse 31. Then gat he up upon his second chariot, and being brought back to Jerusalem, died, and was buried in his father's sepulchre. And all the Yahudim, they mourned for Josiah. Yes, Yirmiyahu, the prophet, lamented for Josiah. And the chief men with the woman made lamentation for him unto this day. And this was given out of ordinance to be done continually in all the nation of Yasharal. These things are written in the book of the stories of the kings of Yehudah, and every one of the acts of Josiah did his esteem, his overstanding in the law of Yah, and the things that he had done before, and the things now recited are reported in the book of the kings of Israel and Yahudiah. And the people took Jochaz, the son of Josiah, and made him king instead of Josiah his father, when he was 23 years old. He reigned in Yahudiah and in Jerusalem 3 months, and then the king of Egypt deposed him from reigning in Jerusalem. And he set a tax upon the land of 100 talents of silver and 1 talent of gold. And the king of Egypt also made King Jehoiakim, his brother, king of Yahudiah and Jerusalem. He bound Jehoiakim and the nobles, but Zereses, his brother, he apprehended and brought him out of Mizraim. verse 39. 25 years old was Jehoiakim when he was made king in the land of Yahudiah and Jerusalem. He did evil before Yah. Wherefore against him Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, came up and bound him with chains of brass and carried him into Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar also took the Kodesh vessels of Yah and carried them away and set them in his own temple at Babylon. But those things that are recorded of him and of his uncleanness and impiety are written in the chronicles of the kings. And Jehoiakim, his son, reigned in his stead. He was made king, being 18 years old, and reigned but 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem, and did evil before Yah. So after a year of Nebuchadnezzar sent and caused him to be brought into Babylon with the Kodesh vessels of Yah, and made Zedekiah king of Yahudiah and Jerusalem, when he was 21 years old, and he reigned 11 years. And he did evil also in the sight of Yah, and cared not for the words that were spoken unto him by the prophet Jeremiah from the mouth of Yah. And after that, King Nebuchadnezzar had made him to swear by the name of Yah, he forswore himself and rebelled and hardened his neck, his heart. He transgressed the laws of Yah of Israel. Verse 50. Verse 49. The governors also of the people and of the priests did many things against the laws, and passed all the pollutions of the nations, and defiled the temple of Yah, which was set apart in Jerusalem. Nevertheless, the Elohim of the fathers sent by him messengers to call them back, because he spared them and his tabernacle also. But they had his messengers in derision, and look, when Yah spoke to them, they made a sport of his prophets. So far, for that he, being wroth with his people for their great unrighteousness, commanded the kings of the Chaldees to come up against them, who slew their young men with the sword, yes, even within the compass of the Kodesh temple, and spared neither young man nor maid, old man nor child among them, for he delivered all into their hands. And they took all the Kodesh vessels of Yah, both great and small, with the vessels of the ark of Yah, and the king's treasures, and carried them away into Babylon. As for the house of Yah, they burnt it and broke down the walls of Jerusalem, and set fire upon her towers. And as for her esteemed things, they never ceased till they had consumed and brought them all to naught. And the people that were not slain with the sword he carried into Babylon. 57. Who became servants to him and his children till the Persians reigned, to fulfill the word of Yah spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Shabbats, the whole time of her desolation shall she rest, until the full term of 70 years. So that completes the first chapter of 1 Ezra.